In this week's episode,
We talk a lot of bollocks, as usual, but then we look at what's to come for Matt in future.
hi, I'm Matt. Parenting is hard, but do you know what? I've got some questions.
And I'm Dan. Maybe I've got the answers.
Hello, everybody, and I hope you're keeping cool because it's very, very hot at the minute. I'm hot, you're hot, everybody's hot, but this is Ramblings of Dadmen. How are you, Daniel?
That sounded like the beginning of like Love Island or something. How am I? I am very hot in every aspect and sense of the word. I've got a big head, and I am very, very warm, as you've just seen. I am very red.
Yeah, so you look a little bit like, I mean, obviously no one can see this, but I've just witnessed this. You look a little bit like Streaky Bacon at the minute. Like, how have you managed? The only thing I could suggest is that you've taped one side of your arm up. And then it looks like a bit of a spiral snake or something. Like
Can
you're
I
going
just
for an
say,
extra tattoo.
I'm not proud of this, but right, I did this with all the best intentions. I knew there was a heat wave. It's been very, very fucking warm. Yesterday I spent it indoors, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But today I thought to myself, you know what? No, it's warm. Kids are outside, paddling pools out. Fuck it, I'm going to sit outside with them. In my wisdom, right, I did put cream on, but so a couple of weeks ago, I had to go and buy some new sun cream for Georgia. And I'm one of these people. I like trying new shit. So the old style bottle where it's a squeezy thing and you get cream all over your hands. Fucking hate that. I hate putting sun cream on for that reason. So I found one that was like an aerosol, and I thought, fuck, that's the best invention ever. Why has that never been a thing? So I bought it, and I used that today. Now, in hindsight, what I probably should have done is sprayed it on and then rubbed the general area. What I've done is clearly just sprayed a line down my arm, thought, that's got quite a big chunk of my arm. And only now am I seeing that is actually not the case. So yeah. I might as well have drawn my name on myself.
Yeah, might as well draw a knob on like the in-betweeners. I feel your pain. I have been dousing myself in fat to 50 over the weekend. Like, I am small, pale, and ginger, so the sun does not like me. But
so yeah. That's an interesting topic though. They're actually, I saw this in the news the other day. They're thinking of banning anything under factor 15 and for general, and then anything under factor 30 or 50, I think, for kids.
I mean,
makes sense.
I'm not surprised by that. That feels like something. I mean, we're of the age where people just used to put cooking oil on, didn't they? And thought, yeah, cool, fuck it, I'll just cook. I'll be fine with it. But yeah.
I actually remember somebody when we went to Spain in year 8. One of the group actually did go out and put carrot oil, factor 2 carrot oil, and then upgraded by the end of it to just cooking oil. That's absolutely bonkers.
Fantastic. Everybody, wear your factor 30. It's really warm outside. Like,
I feel like we should now just be silent, and I'll just cut in wear sunscreen. If I could give you one piece of advice, wear sunscreen.
Yeah. Put like an NHS advert on here for that. Like, you can't skip this one within 5 seconds.
No, maybe you'll marry, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have kids, maybe you won't. But if I could give you one piece of advice,
the best.
Wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
Great advice, to be fair. We should have fucking listened to this morning.
How else has your weekend been then, mate?
Good, busy, very busy. Been busy with work. A lot of hours going into that at the minute during the week, but the weekend. So we've been continuing some of the household decorations. And on Thursday, we went out and purchased some laminate flooring. And being the stubborn bastard that I am, I won't let anybody else decorate my house. So first thing yesterday morning, got up and cracked on with that. So it's all done. So it's all through the hall, and then it actually led to today. Yesterday I started it off, and then the nephew and niece came around for a sleepover with our kids, not to play with me. It's weird. But they came round, and then I downed tools around 6 o'clock to barbecue for everyone. And then today I've got up, and I've pretty much been every tradesman going. I've been a joiner. I've took some doors off. I've planed some doors. I've been a plumber. I've disconnected the toilet, took all that out. And then whatever trade fits laminate flooring. Then, carrying on the theme of hung a mirror with tools and cut the grass. So proper like dad weekend, to be fair.
A proper man's weekend.
Yeah. Just like tools and sweat and, flanges and all sorts of stuff. What about you?
In contrast, we've not done any of that. We have
you done some
lived
baking?
a different life for a weekend, to be honest with you.
Ooh.
We went to an event in a 5-star hotel, and we managed to we were there for 2 days, and let me just tell you that it was a different kind of living experience. First of all, you're greeted with a valet car park who parks your car right on the front. So we tropped up in a Dacia Sandero next to a Rolls Royce, next to a Ferrari, next to a Lamborghini. The valet goes in the car, parks the fucking thing on the staff car park, doesn't it? It was just funny. It was like we've had quite a relaxing weekend for an event, but yeah, something that's totally out of our comfort zone. Going into
pretty sure I've heard before that the valets are instructed, and maybe I've just seen this on a film, but they're instructed to put the nicer cars at the front, just so it marries up.
I mean, that's absolutely, that absolutely makes sense. We were I mean, it's fine, but I think there was only us there that weren't private license plate and all fancy stuff. But we had a good time. I mean, we went into a bedroom, an actual bedroom that had a grand piano in. So that's the kind of experience that we're talking here. The bedroom had a grand piano in.
Did you play the piano?
I tried to play the piano, but the kids were like, no, it's my turn to play some keys. I am not joking in you. I have lived in smaller houses. Converting the square footage, if you compare, I've lived in smaller houses. It was huge.
Wow.
Nice little spa. I bought 4 drinks. Well, I didn't actually. So Becky's sister's partner, bought 4 drinks, 3 gin and tonics, 1 rum and coke, £92.
I mean, I'm not too sure how I respond to that, but
£92.
That's obscene.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of place that it was. I mean, like I say, we had a good time, but we are definitely for 3rd-class steerage and not high-class living. It was different.
I mean, I went to London a couple of weeks ago with work, and I bought JD and Coke and a pint of lager, and I actually thought this guy's gonna have my pants down, and it come to £9.
Yeah,
and this was near the wharf.
Well, this was in North Yorkshire, where when you go in, you like when you go to the bar, it's all table service and you like satin napkins as opposed to paper things, and but you get a talk on this brandy, I think, that they're selling. Louis Louis the 13th. It's
For
100
fucking
year old
92
brandy.
quid, I would expect them to serve it me in a fucking solid gold chalice.
Well, a shot, which was in an actual, genuinely solid gold chalice. Like it's not like the cap and the thing was 24 karat gold that it come in. In fact, I think it's a bit more than a shot. I think it was like 100 mils or something like that. 650 quid.
Yeah. So I happen to know, I've heard of that particular brand before, and I've heard of that. So yeah, I know that's up there with. That's disgusting. I mean, I don't know. Disgusting to taste. It probably tastes amazing, but the price of it is obscene.
One of the gentlemen that we we got the bottle and he managed to get a sniff. I said, I'm going nowhere near that thing because the bottle that they brought out was not £650. No. They were like, the bar staff were saying, but yeah, you buy this and then you make your money off the whatever the glass thing that's in because it takes 3 months to make or something. Like I'm still going nowhere near that. And that too with the bottle of champagne that cost £23.
23 grand.
So yeah, so that was
champagne.
23 grand. Yeah, and I don't even think that was the most expensive thing on the menu, but yeah, £23,000.
See, someone once said, and I actually agree with this, that if you're worried about the price of it, you can't afford it.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got complimentary bottled in like glass bottles, so it was like a posh place. And let's just say that the bottle of water that we went into this event that we went to was filled with gin, because at £92 a round, we were definitely smuggling something. Oh, but yeah, so it was going. We've had a day tonight. It's been blisteringly hot. Fossey hasn't really coped well in the heat. Robin has coped slightly better, but that's because we had a brolly and like we've just covered her in the shade as much as we can. Fossey got caught out in the sun for about half an hour without suntan lotion, and I think she really felt the ill effects of it. Really, she got really tired. And in fairness, she's probably never been out in the sun for that long before, so she was fine after like a little bit of a sleep. But sometimes she has say sensory issues, because it's not sensory issues, but she doesn't do well to like cold, like extreme temperatures. So it's not like you could just shove her in a cold shower or a cold bath or something like that. But we managed to, where we managed to. It was like a proper walk-in shower in one of the hotel suites. So we managed just to dip her feet on the cold water for a little bit on the bottom of the floor. And she had a bit of a temp sleep and then she was fine. How does Georgia coping?
She's quite good. She texts after me. She's got, I think they classify it as like oily skin. She goes brown.
Well, I was just going to say she's quite fair, isn't she? So...
She is, but not in the skin. So it's weird. Right. So like Becky is very, very fair. She sits in the sun and Beck finds it hard to go brown. She goes red first and then stays red for quite a bit. She does go brown eventually, but Georgia she's very much like me. She will go super brown. I know I'm red now. My arms are very brown. That red will turn to brown like almost within 48 hours. Georgia takes after me with the skin. So she's been all right with it. Again, we've been covering her in factor 50 anyway. But yeah, no, she's loved it, to be fair. She's had a paddling pool out. She keeps running around, jumping in that. She's got all of her bath toys in the paddling pool. costs a fucking fortune to fill, and she keeps splashing the shit out of it. Is that just me being a dad? But yeah, no, she loves it.
We've had the little this little octopus thing. It's like a swing ball, but you shove like the hose pipe in, and it just splits water all around the back garden today. We've had that in.
Nice.
That's been quite fun.
Nice.
Callum, is he too cool for school now, or did he make an appearance?
No,
No appearance. FIFA's
I mean,
more.
yeah. To be fair, he came down yesterday, so obviously when we had nephew and niece over, he made a special guest appearance in the back garden and was playing football, and he had some suntan lotion on, and he was fine. But otherwise, he spent the day today playing FIFA.
I was when I was Callum's age, and we went to a little health spa and decided to do 16 minutes on the sunbed. That was a bad moment.
Yeah, my stomach still hurts.
What, from laughing at how red I was afterwards?
No, the pain, the genuine redness. Why would we do 16 minutes? That was just. I think whoever sold us those tokens needs locking up. Like, that's just genuine stupidity, that is it.
It would never happen now, especially for a 16-year-old as well, because that's what we were.
Yeah.
Like, that should never happen now.
I think not long after that, the laws came into it, about ages and stuff like that, and length of time that you could actually go on it. Because a lot of people, when we were that age, they were doing all sorts of the injections and, actually just.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, there was melanin injections, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And the people were literally turning orange.
Yeah. So why would you do that? Why would you inject yourself with actual dye? Just go and stand outside for a bit. What?
Yeah.
Shortcuts.
Well, any more tips for staying cool? Do you think? I know we're not experts, but let's just say that my boys are sticking together at the minute.
It's awesome. I don't know if it's a genuine invention, but someone's made. There's a picture going around of a little contraption that you can put on your car air conditioning blower fans with a little tube that you can stick in your shorts and keep your nuts cool while you're driving.
Ooh, that feels comfortable.
It sounds amazing, doesn't it?
I'm sure someone somewhere, someone's already thought of ways to manipulate that.
I mean, I've got two fans right now. I've got one on top of my desk blowing at my face, and the other one's underneath. So
I've got a little bit of ice just next to me. Have a quick dab.
I'm so glad the cameras are off.
I know. Yeah, this not sexy viewing tonight, guys. This is not sexy viewing.
Before we go into
anything else, how was?
Yeah, I was just going to say, before we go into actual content, I just wanted to tell you a funny story of something that Beck did. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but she said that she actually classifies this as mum guilt. So let me just set the scene a little bit. Obviously, Georgia started school, just before COVID happened. So she's a 2019 kid. She joined school then, and then, halfway through her first year, COVID happened, and then go home, all that shit. This year, in year 2, is her first ever school disco that she's actually been able to go to and attend.
Oh, right, yeah.
It wasn't a thing. So she was all excited. First time she'd ever been to one. Give her some money, and she actually come back with most of that, but not the point. So she's all excited. Bex dropped her off, and she was going to be collecting her because I was at work. She went back to go and pick her up, and as she was pulling up on the car park, or as she was driving to go and pull up on the car park, she noticed all of the other kids walking in the opposite direction. She thought, oh shit, I must be like a couple of minutes late. So she got there to find Georgia crying and upset, thinking that Beck wasn't actually come for her. Turns out that Beck had misread the message from school and turned up 15 minutes late for her. And the Key Stage 2 disco had already started. So, yeah, Beck felt absolutely guilty of, obviously turning up late and misreading it. And Georgia milked that, so she got a free slush and loads of other sweets and whatnot as an apology. But yeah, Beck still feels a bit guilty. So just thought, I don't know if that's ever happened to you yet, but
well, only. I mean, today I feel a little bit guilty because obviously I'm talking to your fine good self, and me and Becky had a conversation probably about 2.5 hours ago, and I said bedtime's going to be a little bit difficult tonight because I know it's hot and stuff, and Becky said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's going to be really, really easy tonight. Both of them are really tired. I'm pretty sure one of them still may be up right now." So poor Flossie today.
This is going to be an hour-long episode then.
Yeah, poor Flossie today. She's obviously she's not great with the heat, but we've just been in the garden and we've got she's fallen asleep in the garden, the poor thing, and we couldn't move her. We've got her in the shade, so she's fine, so she's not burned. But we've just had to wrap the hammock up ever so slightly, like so she wasn't covered up from the sunlight. So she's been like a bit of a burrito. But because she's been asleep in the garden, she's now not tired. So
yeah, I just think about
last time I checked, she was still eating pasta.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But back in the hammock, she'll be fine. Oh.
Okay.
But
so obviously the guise and premise of this entire podcast has always been about experiencing your journey through becoming a parent and stuff. And a lot of it, obviously, when we very first started it off, it was preparing you, and then we've looped back week to week. But I wanted to sort of take a bit of a different approach and sort of, maybe we've done this in parts in a way before, but just sort of, there's a couple of things that I was talking to Beck about today, about something else, other stuff that's happened to us. But I wanted to sort of think, sort of pose it to you, of obviously you casting your mind forward. What are your expectations? So I don't know. Does Robin have a dummy at all?
She does have a dummy. She doesn't tend to use it, to be honest. It's not like she's not the kind of baby that sticks a dummy in her mouth and then just use it all the time. The best way to explain how she uses a dummy is she uses it like a teething toy. So like she'll chew down on it for a little bit, but she'll never keep it in for a long amount of time, and she'll almost play with it like a toy. Like she'll get the ring bit of it and then just start playing with that. So yes, she has a dummy. I don't have anything wrong with people that have dummies per se. I think as a kid I had dummy until I was like 3.5 or something like that. I'm sure my mum just didn't want me to speak. So I mean that's a joke, but I don't actually know how long I had a dummy for. I definitely know that I had one. But yeah, she does. However, she doesn't really use it as a dummy. It's more of a teething tool.
That's interesting. You may have dodged a bullet then, because this was what we were talking about, was getting Georgia to sort of give her dummy up. And I just wanted to sort of see what your expectations were. But obviously, if Robin's not necessarily as attached to it, you could probably substitute that with other things like, I don't know, Bicky Pegs or other teething things, and then just gradually wean it out of existence.
Well, the thing is that she's not interested in her teething toys. So she has got teething toys, but she'll play with them like they're toys. Like they will go nowhere near her mouth. So we don't foresee that being a problem. Although, I mean, in these last 2 days, 2 tiny little teeth have just sprouted out. So maybe that's why she's using it a little bit more, because the teething is now a thing, as a comfort thing. So hopefully, I mean, you never know. In 6 months' time, she'll probably love the dummy and will have be eating our words. But at the minute, it's not that much of an issue.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've potentially dodged the bullet, because I was going to say that it's like you said, it's a good thing to give kids to keep them quiet until the 3.5. But one of the challenges is getting them to give up that dummy. And we sort of, Callum was a bit harder, but with Georgia, we sort of had to trick her into just sort of saying like that we were going to give it to the Easter Bunny, and because they need to give it to other children who need it now, and just sort of convinced her that way. Gave it up almost overnight, which was yes, but it relied on that understanding that it's going to someone else.
We've got a thing with Flossie, I guess, which is similar, but she's just at that age where she finds things boring. So cleaning the teeth is just like a boring job to her. So we have to convince her that she has to clean herself every day, or the tooth fairy, when they comes, they don't give money for bad teeth. And, I guess it's that kind of little thing where I guess it is manipulation, really, but it's like positive manipulation, isn't it? And then it becomes a learnt behaviour.
It's positive manipulation. I like that. I'm gonna take that one. I'm just positively manipulating you. Well, that actually segues into the next one. That segues into the next one, like in terms of what are your sort of expectations. Obviously, you've just said that you feel as though Robin's first teeth are coming through, and I don't know if Flossie's gone to this stage yet, but what are your sort of expectations when that first tooth does come out? Obviously, both for Flossie and for Robin. Do you foresee it just being simple, easy?
I don't know, to be honest with you, because it's almost a gradual process, isn't it? And I remember myself being young and still believe like the Easter Bunny was a thing, and it's almost that anticipation. I'll be honest, I haven't thought about it that hard. I mean, Flossie's 5, so it's coming up to where we should be in the next 12 months or so. She'd probably lose her first teeth. I mean, I guess you want to make it an exciting experience because all the teeth are going to fall out eventually. I mean, I remember you saying in a previous episode that the tooth fairy now costs $5, so maybe if just for the first spread it out a little bit.
Booking first one, remember that. Right.
At the rate of inflation, that might be about £6,000 the way it's going.
Well, yeah. So on top, you're making this super easy for me then.
Wow.
One of the other ones, or the last one, was going to be sort of okay. So again, George has just had her first disco. I guess Flossie will probably have hers maybe next year. Her first one. Yeah. I don't know if they do it for reception, but that's sort of a precursor, really. Callum's just left school, and he's got his prom. For a boy, that just means a suit. That's fine. Whatever it is, 100 quid, 200 quid. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not cheap, but it's just a suit. Now, we've got friends who've got girls who are also leaving and have left. Top of your head, how much do you think the average dress costs? And how much do you think that they should spend on that? Just a prom outfit.
On a prom dress, say, well...
Go on. I know first figure that comes into your head. Go on.
I would say, for a 16-year-old prom, I would say, like, it's going to be a special thing. There's going to be a bit of peer pressure to go. But based on today's rates, maybe, I would say 150 quid. How far are they out?
Well, given that, Flossie is way off and Robin's even further off, you best get saving now. So some of the girls at the minute, the dresses are £600-700 just for the dress. Then you've got hair, nails, makeup, professional makeup. So when you start looking into marriage costs and stuff like that, bear that in mind of how much it costs for haircuts and hairstyling.
Yeah.
How much makeup costs. How much nails cost, eyebrows, eyelashes. spray tan. The fake, all girls all want the fake tan if they've not got a real one.
Yeah.
You're looking at $1,000.
I should have invested in Bitcoin, shouldn't I?
10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
But
yeah, 10 years ago.
It's $1,000 now. I reckon it may be closer to $2,000 by the time Georgia and Flossie get there.
As I just ripping my own hair out now as I think about it.
It's obscene, isn't it?
You don't. I guess you don't think about it being a bloke. You just think, oh, nice dress, bit of makeup, it'll be fine. But yeah, 600, 700 quid. But again, I guess there is going to be. We've just mentioned peer pressure, but there is going to be like, oh well, I don't want to be the dress, and for a 16-year-old, that's really important, isn't it?
So well, it's not just that though. That you've got to factor in the grand entrance as well. Some of the kids these days, they want like flying on a fucking helicopter.
Yeah, limos I could keep seeing all over town, which is probably
big business. What do you do? Oh, driving a mile from a house to school. Oh, good. So actually, on top of it, I actually drove past one of the Leavers dues a couple of weeks ago at Reebok. Well, it's not Reebok anymore, is it? Whatever it's called, University of Bolton Stadium or whatever it is now. But there was one on there. I shit you not, there must have been about 1,000 people at the front. All the parents had converged on the actual front to take pictures of all the kids. But there was a queue of traffic to get in, and it was the most expensive queue I've ever seen. It was almost like they were queuing for your 5-star hotel. There was Porsches, there was Lamborghinis, there was 5 people in tractors. Fucking bonkers. You've got to make like this
Georgia's all over it, hasn't it?
Well, that's already in the works. It's being planned, but she's got plenty of time to sort of make that happen. But
yeah.
To have this unique, this grand entrance, and it's bonkers. If you factor in renting a Lamborghini for the day, whatever that costs now, plus all the other stuff, we're very fast turning into something they could get carried away with.
It's getting into 4 figures territory, isn't it? So I'll start saving. Okay, so I have a question, and this might be a controversial question, but it's a good talking topic for whatever's going on at the minute in terms of the weather. But it's something that Becky and I have talked about today, and we don't know the right answer yet. Well, we kind of think we do, but so has Georgia broke up for school yet?
Next week.
Yeah. So does she break up on the Friday, or does she break up like halfway through the week?
I think it's halfway through the week.
Do you know? Yeah. Right. So at this somewhere in the middle of the week, it's going to get to like 38 degrees, 39 degrees. Some schools may not be set up for like a heat in terms of air conditioning. There might not be safe provisions for schools, just because in the UK you've never really had to deal with a heat like that. What are your thoughts on whether kids should go to school? Does that kind of make sense? We're not saying that schools should be closed or something like that, but is there a where if kids are just going to run out all day and like, especially if they go out for the breaks outside, or should that be inside? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
So Georgia School's doing something where you can go in your PE kit, so the kids are a bit cooler. They're not in a uniform.
Okay. Well, that's
I have seen that some schools are thinking about closing over the next couple of days while it's this freak heat wave. Personally, I don't know. I mean, I never advocate anyone skipping school, but at the period where you are, you know as well as anyone, all they're doing is they're not learning anything at this point. They're just colouring in. The teachers are wrapping up for the year. There's last 3-4 days of term. They're burning all the old notebooks and all that shit, and there's probably loads of supply staff on hand. No kid's going to miss out anything valuable.
I mean, kind of my point. It's like Flossie's got 2 days left of school. The Tuesday, she is doing a film day all. And I mean, part of me thinks, well, what's the point? Because she's not going to learn anything. But then the other side of it is, well, going to miss out on all that social interaction. She's got to teach her a present. You know, she's not going to see her school friends for 6 weeks, maybe. You know, they already miss out on a birthday candidacy, so she would only see like maybe 1 or 2 of her friends or something like that. And it's just that it's kind of weigh up the balance, isn't it? Of like, what's the best thing to do? And then toppled with that it's going to be incredibly hot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just a bit of a talking point, really.
Yeah, there's no right answer, I feel. I mean, like I say, I'd never personally advocate anyone missing school, but I think this is sort of extenuating circumstances, a bit different. Maybe you can manage. But it's probably an individual answer. It depends on, like you said, has that school got air conditioning? Are the kids better off actually at school than they are at home? If you don't have any air conditioning, is your house, you live in like a greenhouse almost, where there's certain rooms in our house that are red hot. So I think it's going to be individualized. I think some people, it might be better, they might be cooler at school. Yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, you're right to obviously think about it. I think in putting your position with Flossie where she's at, depending on the school, the nature of that, again, there's all sorts of variables there, but I would probably lean towards just keeping her off.
Well, I mean, it's something that we've not figured out, and I think it's one of them things that will play by ear. But I mean, it's kind of lucky in the sense that legally a reception person doesn't have to, a pupil in reception doesn't legally have to go into school. But it's not something. It's just a bit of a talking point, really. I think she probably, knowing Flossie, she will probably want to go in, so we'll at least try it. But I'm half expecting to get a phone call to say that actually she's not coping very well or something like that, or she needs to come home while the school.
Maybe you hedge your bets and you're 50-50.
Kids in that bloody room.
Maybe you hedge your bets and you're 50-50 and you just send her in tomorrow with all the presents for the teachers, boxes ticked. You've done that, and then Tuesday she has a film day at home.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's lots of variables, to be honest with you, and I'm sure we won't be the only family thinking about it. But yeah, it's just something to think about. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's an interesting thing, but like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. But yeah, on that fine bombshell, let's go and hit the sack. I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Just a bit of a heads up that we won't be recording next week, just because of some life issues that need to go on. So we're going to have a week's break and then take it from there.
Back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you are still listening, see you then.
See you then.